Finally for us here tonight, some interesting reporting from our nonprofit partners at Investigative Post. People who used to own homes like this one on Fargo Avenue in Buffalo are collectively owed millions of dollars from the city. That money came from auctions when the city sold off properties that it foreclosed on because the owners were behind on taxes and/or fees. The city collects from the winning bids to cover the back taxes, and then the property owners are supposed to have a process to try to get back the rest, their equity in the home. Well, in the case of the 2019 auction, that extra money is more than $3.5 million, and the city is still holding on to all of it. Joining us live now in studio to help us better understand this is the reporter who covered that story for IP, Geoff Kelly. Geoff, it's always great to have you here, and I wonder, the city didn't do this apparently until recently. Explain to us what changed here.
Well, until 3 years ago, Michael, what happened is if a house was foreclosed on, went to auction, after the city recouped what it was owed in taxes and fees, the remainder, what they call the surplus, was sent to the Erie County Comptroller. And the Erie County Comptroller held that money. A homeowner and other lien holders on the home could then apply through the Erie County courts for their share of the money. So, whatever equity was left to the former homeowner, they could get it back. In 2019, the city decided to change their policy in order to keep the money in the city coffers and take charge of the distribution. And the idea was that maybe the city could hold on to unclaimed funds. Previously, in the end, the money sort of defaulted to the state. Now, so the last auction that was held in 2019, the first one under this new policy, generated about $4.3 million in proceeds. And as you say, about $3.6 million of that was surplus. None of that has been dispersed to former homeowners. And I talked to one attorney based in Rochester. He has filed 18 claims and counting, and he has not even heard back from the law department in the city of Buffalo, and City Hall has not even acknowledged the claims, let alone, sort of push them along through the process.
Wow, it is very interesting. We showed there at the top the home on Fargo Avenue. It had the biggest surplus on the list, more than $131,000. I imagine the person who's owed that money would like to have it back. Why has that sort of not happened?
Well, it's hard to say because the lawyer who has filed a claim for that surplus, which filed this claim back in June, 4 months ago, hasn't heard anything. So he doesn't really know what the process is. Here's the thing, the city has put in place something of a policy, something of a program for homeowners, former homeowners, to engage in. Here's the thing, there are a couple of hurdles that the city puts in their place. In order to get your money back, your share, you have to prove A, financial hardship, that the reason you fell behind on taxes, you didn't have the money to pay. Or you have to show that the city somehow made a mistake in foreclosing on and then sending to auction your property. So there are a bunch of attorneys, including the Western New York Law Center, who are pushing back against both those conditions. Nobody else in the state does that. It's not clear if it even sort of like jives with state law.
Interesting. Looking forward, Geoff, and I know there seem to be a lot of questions about how this is playing out, right? But what do we suspect, or what do you suspect is going to happen? Is the city going to be able to just keep a lot of this money long term?
Well, I think they would like to if they can. The attorney I talked to, the guy who's got the 18 claims, including for 34 Fargo, the property you just showed, he said, these are not court proceedings now. He is just applying to a City Hall program. If City Hall, if the law department does not respond, eventually he could go to court, not to sue necessarily, but to ask a judge to compel the city to at least acknowledge the claim and to push it along in the process, to make a determination.
I know it's something that you will continue to follow. It really is just fascinating and kind of one of those things that, during the pandemic, we didn't talk about a lot. And now as we kind of come out of this, your reporting is helping us understand this. Geoff Kelly with Investigative Post. Have a great weekend, Geoff. Thank you.
Thank you.